Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ira Anthony. Welcome back to the channel. I'll be doing another movie review today on none other than Avengers Endgame. This will be a spoiler-free review, so if you have not seen the movie, please don't panic. Don't worry. You can continue watching because I would not reveal any important plot points in this movie, any character deaths whatsoever. This is going to be, I'm going to keep this as vague as possible so you can kind of get a general feel of how I feel about the movie. So, also, if you guys have not already subscribed, please do so.
Come on. Do it. Do it.
If you have subscribed already, I thank you and I appreciate your continued support. And real quick, before we start, there are no credit scenes in this movie. There's no mid-credit scenes. There's no post-credit scenes. So as soon as the credits is over, the lights come on, you get out. And you know, by the way the movie ends, it kind of makes sense because the movie kind of ends as if you just watched like a post-credit scene. So no post-credit scenes. The credits are pretty cool by the way the credits actually roll out, but there are no actual credit scenes. So Avengers Endgame, it has finally come. We've waited a year. I honestly could not wait a year, but I've managed to wait a year to see this movie. This movie was a lot different than I expected it to be. And, you know, you're looking at the trailers, everything that, you know, that was revealed in the trailers. It didn't really show you what the movie was about, which is, I think, is ideal for a movie of this caliber. You don't need to show me the whole movie. And because, you know, people are going to go see Endgame regardless. And the trailers did a really good job of keeping the premise of the movie a complete secret. We've seen so many theories out there on the internet. They were all wrong. No one guessed it. One thing I didn't really expect in this movie, because this movie is over 3 hours long, so I expected it to be action-packed, but it was not. This movie was very plot-driven, and for the first 2/3 of the movie, it was just all character development, setup, you know, defining a mission, and then the last phase, the last act of the movie was where all the action really took place. Now I'm a little torn because on one hand, this is the final chapter of over a decade of, you know, installments of movies, and I wanted to go out with a bang, and I wanted this to be the most action-packed movie of the Marvel universe, cinematic universe, and it wasn't. But when it didn't have action, you know, in the first two acts, it was still really, really good. And even though I was okay with it, I could see where there's going to be people that are going to be bothered by the lackluster action, you know, in the first few acts of this movie. But like I said, they spent a lot of time of setting things up, coming up with a mission, and, you know, giving all the characters a chance to shine. And the movie did a really good job of that. With so many characters, the movie did such a good job of, you know, having a nice balance of giving everybody their just due. All of the main characters in the movie and the secondary characters in this movie were just awesome. I mean, they did a really good job of invoking emotion from these characters and also reminding you that these characters have their own personal agendas and their own personal biases. Like, this wasn't really a superhero movie in the first acts, and it was kind of cool because it kind of stripped these superpower beings down to like, hey, like, this is humanity. Like, you know, our power isn't really important right now. What's important is our morals, our values, the things that we care about the most. And, you know, in this post-apocalyptic era, like, we got to maintain that, the status quo of that morality. This could have been a mess. Like, honestly, like, this, if this was DC, and no shot at DC because they've actually been on, you know, been on a roll lately. But I felt if this was DC, this would have been a complete mess. But, you know, Marvel was able to pull it off. But like I said, in that last hour where they condensed all the action for this, you know, final scene, when I say it was just awesomeness everywhere, like there were literally so many scenes that took place where I'm like, yo, that's my man's. That's my man's. That's why I rocks with you. Like, it was solid. Like, when I say this action sequence was just, it just hit so hard. It was epic. If Infinity War was definitely a Thanos movie, Endgame was definitely an Avengers movie, and that's abundantly clear once you watch the movie. I even want to make references of like other movies that the film reminded me of, but me even referencing to another movie is kind of spoiling things. So I'll say that for my actual spoiler review. But overall, the movie was dope, man. Like it was dope. Um, Thanos in a different light, and I mean, I just think that Thanos, with the exception of, and I'm not even gonna say exception because I don't know if like Thanos' character is even like it rivals, but it may even supersede Iron Man's character. I just think Thanos is dope. Thanos himself, I was first introduced to him playing like the Marvel video game, like I think it's called Marvel Heroes, like the arcade when I was like, a kid, and like the boss is Thanos at the end, and I didn't really know who this guy was. I'm like, oh, he must be really powerful, and throughout the, and they had like the Infinity Gems throughout the game, and I was like, oh, he's cool. And then the next time I seen Thanos was like in the Silver Surfer cartoon back in the '90s, which wasn't really good. And they did a really poor job of portraying Thanos. He had a really weird voice, and he was just like over obsessing about Lady Mistress' death, and I thought it was kind of weird. But then actually, when I kind of got more into comic books and understanding the dynamic behind these characters, I'm like, yo, Thanos is dope, and I could not wait to see him on the big screen. And honestly, his big screen representation to me is the best representation of Thanos. But like I said, he is not the star of this movie, and I'm actually okay with it. I went into like, oh, I can't wait to see Thanos, and then he was wasn't a large part of this movie. Obviously he was the driving factor, but like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. This movie did end on a very clear and lucid conclusion. Like you left this movie very resolved. The movie told a story, had a very conclusive end, a very clean, flush ending, and I was very satisfied. I feel like anyone who watches this movie is going to be completely satisfied how it ended. I have no grievances on how the movie ended. I know a lot of people didn't really like the way Infinity War ended, which I thought was brilliant the way it ended. But there was a lot of people who didn't like the way it ended, and I kind of get that. But this movie, I feel like the 95% of us is going to be really satisfied the way this movie ended, and it served its characters well. There was a lot of fan service. I mean, everyone left the movie blown away. This movie is definitely going to impact you emotionally. And if the MCU never made another movie, it is totally okay because this movie definitely gave you closure and satisfaction. So obviously, I want to see as many MCU movies as possible. But now the moment you all been waiting for, I have to rate this film. And I'm going to give Avengers Endgame a 9 out of 10, which is my very first Hall of Fame rating. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Have you seen the movie? But please do not drop any spoilers under the comments at all. I will make a separate spoiler review, and we could talk about things there. And if you have not already subscribed, please go ahead and do that now. Also hit that like button if you just enjoyed the video. I'm Ira Anthony. I'll catch you guys next time.